Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering the Raptgo Bridge IEM. It is a 2BA, 2DD, 1PZT on each side. I think the build quality is pretty damn good, and I think it's definitely worth its price. Whether or not it's going to be an IEM fitting for you, we'll get into that, but I did just want to bring up the SMSL C200. This is an all-in-one amp DAC. You can see it's pretty form factor, so if you're worried about an amp DAC taking up a lot of space on your desk, it certainly will not do that. You've got a 6.35 for your headphones, a 4.4 for your IEMs. The 635, obviously, you can get a 3.5 to 635 adapter if you don't have a 4.4 cable for your IEMs. You have your audio dial, which will also control high gain, low gain. And then you have a screen here that will show you your current volume as well as your bit rate. On the back of the amp DAC, you can see you've got obviously power, you've got optical in, USB in, coax in, and then RCA out and TRS balanced out. I think that overall the amp DAC is damn good, especially if you're on a budget. I think this set me back about $200. It is, I would say, definitely competing with the topping DX3 Pro Plus that I don't have anymore. I prefer the SMSL C200. The sound is a little bit warmer, a little bit more fun, but not anything that is going to drastically change the audio in comparison to the topping DX3 Pro Plus. That is a little bit more lean, a little bit more analytical. I think for gaming purposes, the SMSL C200 is a little bit more fun, but of course you might get a little bit of an edge with a little bit more of an analytical sound, depending though on your IEMs, right? So if you're using something that's a little bit lacking or lean in the bass, kind of like the Raptgo Bridge IEM, you can certainly kind of get a little bit more out of the SMSL C200 compared to the topping DX3 Pro Plus. Again, my pick out of the two was the SMSL C200. I think it's just a great all-rounder, especially for the budget side, and you will not need to add an additional amp for specifically, primarily, IEMs. Getting to the Raptgo Bridge, I think that this is a pretty damn cool package for an IEM. There's just so much customization here, but in particular, the build quality of the shell is just beautiful and solid. It's something that will definitely feel very high quality when you touch it, something that feels like it will have a lot of long-standing durability. You can see that it does have two dip switches here on the IEM itself. One of those controls the higher frequency, one of those controls the overall gain. So there's not really much of a difference when you either have those on or off. The difference is actually really minimal. And then to get even more of a customization out of your sound, just opening the box and getting into the internals. First of all, the carrying case is pretty sick. I think the overall aesthetic of the IEM as well as the carrying case, everything looks really well together. But you can see that you've got all of your ear tips here in the actual case itself. You've got the cable that it comes with, which is not my favorite cable at all, which is why you see that I have my triple in Zoni cable here in the violet colorway. But you've got your tips, and then you also have filters that also slightly change the sound. You've got the high frequency, the equilibrium, and the balanced. I went with the silver filters. I think that the sound was more, maybe a little bit balanced. But overall, the Raptgo Bridge IEM is an IEM that is not going to be bass forward or bass heavy. In terms of a music listening experience, I do think that these provide nice resolution and detail, but I do think that with its, I would say, V-shaped sound, the bass, including sub-bass, mid-bass, could be a little bit more luscious, a little bit more impactful in the tracks that I listen to. I think if you're a bass head, these are not going to be the IEM for you, but if you're somebody who likes airiness and maybe a little bit more detail on the upper range, the Raptgo Bridge is a pretty nice IEM. In terms of mid-range, I think male vocals and female vocals sound great, but when you transition these into a gaming experience, I do think that there is a lot of fun that is desired when you are shooting things like a vandal or grenades are going off. Sometimes if you're looking for that fun factor, the Raptgo Bridge could leave a little bit to be desired. That does transition quite well, though, for a competitive use case scenario, because if you're somebody who becomes overwhelmed very easily in terms of separation, being able to hear those things that are happening around you as grenades are going off, ultimates are going off. A lot of people are shooting a Vandal or very resonating, boomy, bassy weapons like an Operator or a Sheriff. These actually separate very well. I would give the edge to the Raptgo Bridge in terms of separation compared to other things in the budget list. And I would say that the imaging here is actually quite good in terms of being able to pinpoint where people are. I think with a little bit more emphasis on some of those lower regions, it would provide a little bit better depth perception. I feel that one of the things it struggles with is hearing people with urgency that are creeping up on you or climbing up on you in Apex Legends or about to peek you in Valorant. There's just a little bit of emphasis that could be achieved if the sound space wasn't as airy as it is. So it's kind of one of those IEMs where if you prefer that airiness, you're somebody who gets overwhelmed by a lot of grenades and things like that, I could definitely point you in the direction of the Raptgo Bridge. Personally, it's not going to be higher up on my list because I think things like the Truther Critical Zero provide a nice balance in terms of separation while still getting that emphasis. But overall, an IEM that I personally used to hit Masters this season on the SMSL C200. So I can say I did not struggle with it, and I felt that the overall detail retrieval was good. I would just say that the overall imaging and depth perception for verticality, things at a distance could be a little bit better, and just imaging overall could be a little bit more precise and direct. But overall, if I had to scale it from an A through an F, I would probably give the Raptgo Bridge a B. I think that for its price point, for everything that you're getting in the overall package, the aesthetic, how it feels, all of the customization, I think that you're getting a nice package here. But if you already have something on the budget list, personally, I think that I would probably prefer the Dunu Kima, the Truther Critical Zero, potentially even the Moondrop LAN if you already have the Moondrop LAN. But these do separate better than the Dunu Kima, and they do have better separation than the Moondrop LAN. So it's kind of one of those things where if you're noticing that you're somebody who really struggles with separation and hearing things when a lot is going on, you could potentially benefit from the Raptgo Bridge, and that would kind of be my recommendation. If you're somebody who doesn't like all that bass, either sub bass or mid bass, and you're looking for more airiness and a little bit more revealing in intense moments. I think for Valorant and TAC shooters, again, could have a little bit more emphasis, but overall the imaging was great, I feel, in Valorant, and I feel that I never felt overwhelmed at any point in time with the Raptgo Bridge. So I definitely want to put the Raptgo Bridge on my list. I would just add that little caveat that there's a few areas that could be a little bit better. So that is it for this one, guys. I've got a lot more reviews coming. We've got more IEMs, headphones, keyboards, mice, mouse pads, a whole lot to catch up on, and there will be a lot of videos coming out this weekend. So I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.